Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain a mystery thriller series called Burning Body from 2023. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The fourth episode opens with Rosa finding a rose bouquet and a stuffed teddy on top of her patrol car. She's confused about who could be the sender. Albert is also just as confused. They're sure that neither Javi nor Albert has sent the bouquet. The scene shows Pedro sending a text to Rosa, saying how beautiful she is, and expressing his desire to meet her, even though his child and wife were right next to him. Meanwhile, Rosa asks Javi to go out with her the next day, but he rejects the idea, saying he has to cover for his friend at work who's sick. Rosa is a bit upset because Javi has been covering a lot of people's shifts recently. Javi shrugs. He then gets angry at Sofia for playing with the teddy that Pedro gave Rosa, and he takes the teddy away. The scene cuts to Pedro and Rosa having dinner together in a restaurant. Pedro asks him what her sign is, and Rosa is a Scorpio, which is what Pedro guessed. He tells her that he's a Libra, which is quite compatible with Scorpio. Pedro asks her whether she likes speed and bikes. Rosa confirms that she does. Pedro again asks her which one she prefers, lovemaking or just fulfilling physical needs. Rosa tells him that the answer is always lovemaking. They then cheer over some drinks. At present, Rosa's colleague is giving a statement to Esther. She asks him about what kind of couple Rosa and Albert were. According to him, they weren't a private couple in the precinct. Even though they tried to hide it at first, later everybody knew about it. Esther asks him whether he knows about Javi. He replies that they did know about Rosa's ex, but she told them that she divorced Javi before she started dating Albert. Esther asks whether Rosa and Albert are still dating. He replies that they aren't dating as she was dating Pedro up until now, but they came to a dinner together not long ago. He also tells her that it was the 4th of May. But when another colleague of Rosa is called to give his statement, he asks Esther whether she's questioning two colleagues coming to a dinner together, like it's suspicious. Sylvia also arrives at the place to know if there's any update. He asks Esther's colleague why Pedro's colleague was there. The man assured her that they'll notify her right away if they have any updates. The scene cuts to the second colleague, Juanjo, telling Albert how he gave a statement this morning. He also informs him how Esther also asked about him and Rosa. Albert scoffs at hearing this. After they're done filling the car fuel, they leave to get something to eat. The scene changes to Rosa. Sylvia is in the house with her son to visit her. They talk about Pedro. Sylvia still can't believe that he's gone. Rosa agrees, and she also adds that he was very good to her. Sylvia tells her that there's no need to lie to her as she lived with him for 10 years. Rosa does admit that they had a lot of fights about silly things. Sylvia encourages her to open up to her, as she has also been there. Rosa assures her that they were just a normal couple who fought sometimes. They then talk about Esther. Rosa asks Sylvia what kind of person Esther is. Sylvia tells her how Esther is a smart one. Even though she has nothing on them till now, Sylvia suspects she has gotten some clues but isn't sharing them. Rosa understands, and Sylvia gets permission from Rosa to use their restroom. After coming back from the restroom, Rosa tells Sylvia that she has gotten a call from her parents and has to go. Sylvia gets her situation, so she picks up her son and gets ready to leave. Flashbacks show Pedro on his phone while lying down on the bed. Sylvia requests him to get out and get some fever medicine from the pharmacy for their son. They then go on to argue about how Pedro is not there for them. Sylvia leaves the room while being furious. Pedro sends Rosa a text saying how a moment not spent with her is a waste of time. Rosa receives the message while she is watching a show with Javi on TV. Seeing Rosa on her phone, Javi gets annoyed. He tells her that if she was not going to watch the show, then they could have watched one of his shows. They get into a slight argument, and Javi leaves the room. At night, while they're asleep, Rosa's phone starts buzzing. She carefully picks up the phone and leaves thinking Javi is still asleep, but Javi opens his eyes right after she leaves the room. Rosa gets out of the house and meets with Pedro outside. He asks her to come with him, but Javi is still in bed, so she has to go back. Pedro still pushes her to come with him, as he has also left his house, telling his wife that there's an emergency at the precinct, but Rosa doesn't listen to him. She kisses him on the lips and goes back to the house and her bed. At present, Rosa is calling Albert. She asks him how he is doing. Albert tells her that he's doing okay, but things are not okay at the precinct, as everyone is tense after the death. Rosa tells him that she's currently in a meeting with Esther. They haven't found anything about the death. After the call, Albert sends her a text saying they bought it. At the meeting, Esther tells her that they won't be arresting Javi. Rosa already knows this, as Javi told her himself. Esther asks Rosa to tell her again what the last thing he did with Pedro. Rosa repeats that they did their taxes, had some coffee, and after that they fought, and Pedro left. He said that he had to go pay the mechanic. Esther asks whether there's any witness to this incident. Rosa doesn't reply, and finds the camera pointing at them and smiles. She realizes that it's not a meeting but an interrogation, and Esther confirms her doubt. Rosa tells her that she'll need a lawyer then. Esther agrees and asks whether she and Albert are still dating. Rosa replies that they never dated. She suggests Esther not believe everything people say to her. Moreover, Rosa's parents saw Pedro that day. Sophia was spending the night at their place, but they had to come back to pick up a toy unicorn of Sophia's. Esther asks her why she didn't tell her this before. Rosa tells her sorry as she was going through a lot these days and forgot. Esther asks her whether her parents will agree to give a statement, and she confirms they'll. The scene changes to Rosa talking with her parents. They've gotten ready to give their statement. Before leaving, they're talking and eating with Rosa. Rosa explains to them how Javi is trying to implicate her. She has spoken to her lawyer and he told her it would help her very much if someone else other than her saw Pedro that day. But nobody saw Pedro that night other than her. Her parents reply that they saw him on May 1st. Juan suggests they lie and tell they saw him on May 2nd. Even though at first her mom disagrees about lying, they ultimately lie to Esther. Juan tells her that they saw Pedro from 50 yards off the house. He was getting in his car. They waved at him, but he didn't wave back. Rosa's mom tells her that she's not sure whether he waved back or not. Esther then asks them if Rosa was happy. They confirm that she was. She again asks whether they know Albert. They do know about Albert. He's Rosa's partner and friend. Her mom adds that even when Rosa was attacked by the homeless man, he saved her. The scene changes to Pedro and his colleague patrolling. He tells his colleague how gorgeous and incredible Rosa is. His colleague reminds him that he's married and has a baby. Pedro replies that Rosa has a family too, but they are in love. His colleague desperately tries to convince him not to take any sudden decision, but Pedro is adamant. They go back to patrolling at the checkpoint. While Pedro is at the checkpoint, a biker speeds away in front of them. Ped tries to stop the biker, but he brushes past him, and Pedro falls to the ground. His colleague follows the biker on his motorbike. Pedro gets up and follows them. He sees his colleague asking for documents from the young biker, and he's unable to show any. Pedro comes up to them and starts beating the biker, throws him on the ground and starts kicking and punching him. By the time his colleague finally manages to pull away Pedro, some bystander records the whole incident on their phone. The scene cuts to Sylvia screaming at Pedro about how he could do this. He's suspended from work without pay. But what worries her more than money is how he could beat such a young kid. Pedro explains that the kid laughed at him, but Sylvia doesn't care whether he laughed or not. She's frustrated at Pedro for being so immature and leaves the room. The scene changes to Rosa meeting with Pedro in his car. She starts hugging and comforting him while he sobs in her arms. Rosa tells him that she also had a hard time when that homeless man died, but everything became fine after some time. That's just how their job is. Pedro tells her that he wants to spend all his time with her. Rosa nods and says that he must be lonely in his house. He starts sobbing again. Rosa expresses to him that she deserves more than seeing him in the parking lot. Pedro laughs and agrees. He then takes her to a place where they can see the whole city. It's a beautiful overview of the city at night. Meanwhile, Albert is calling someone, but they're not picking up the phone. Back to Pedro and Rosa, they're now kissing while enjoying the view. In the morning, Pedro and Albert see each other in the changing room. Later, while practicing boxing, Albert starts beating up his partner without any reason. He finally stops, and his partner is shocked by his sudden behavior. At present, Esther is interrogating Sylvia. She asks her whether she has talked with Pedro on May 2nd. She replies that she talked with him over texts that day. The text shows Pedro asking her whether he can pick up their kid tomorrow. Sylvia expresses to Esther that she has a feeling that Pedro didn't write this text. Esther wonders whether Rosa is the one who wrote it. Later, Esther tells her partner that she wants the triangulation of both Rosa and Albert's phones. Flashbacks show Sylvia and Pedro preparing Christmas gifts. While they're doing this, Pedro announces that he wants to break up. Things haven't been going well between them for a long time. Sylvia just asks who the girl is. Pedro tells her to not bring someone else, as it's just between them. Sylvia realizes Pedro really wants to break up. She agrees, but just tells him to tell her the name. Pedro finally tells her that it's Rosa. Sylvia wishes them good luck and leaves the room. Pedro texts Rosa asking when she'll leave Javi as he just left Sylvia. Rosa sees the text while she's having Christmas dinner with her whole family. Javi and her parents are eating and laughing at the dinner table. Rosa sits at the table and starts talking with Javi. Sophia doesn't want to finish her shrimps, so Javi gives them to Rosa to finish. Rosa pets Javi's hand and tells him that he looks handsome. They then talk about what they want for Christmas. Sophia wants a puppy for Christmas, which they all find pretty cute. Later, Sophia is singing the Christmas song with her grandparents. Rosa tries to talk with Javi, but he leaves, saying he'll talk later. Later that night, Javi breaks up with Rosa. He has found someone named Carmen in his unit. She has told him about Albert, and he knows what's going on between Rosa and Albert. Rosa begs him to not break up and think about Sophia. Javi assures her that he knows he'll be able to take care of Sophia. Rosa begs him and tries to stop him from leaving, but Javi leaves. After Javi leaves, Rosa texts Albert informing him that Javi left. They were together for 12 years, but he still didn't want to talk to her about this. Rosa requests Albert to come as she doesn't want to be alone tonight, but Albert goes offline after seeing her message, so she texts someone else. The scene cuts to Pedro having a New Year's dinner with Rosa and her family. Pedro is now talking with Juan. He tells him that he's also a cop like Rosa. Juan asks him why he's on leave, and he just replies that it's because of his bike, but he'll be back in late January or early February. Rosa's mom puts a crab on Pedro's plate, but he is having a hard time opening it. So, Rosa helps him open it. They eat and laugh while Sophia keeps staring at Pedro. Juan tells her not to do this, but Pedro takes it lightly. He even starts playing a staring competition. Later, they celebrate the new year at midnight together. At present, Esther and her partner are looking at where Rosa and Albert's phone was on May 1st. It was in the same place as Pedro. The trio was together from May 1st to 2nd. Esther tells him that it must be Albert and Rosa who did the crime, but her partner says he was alive on 2nd May as Rosa's parents saw him that day. The scene changes to Rosa and Albert riding their bikes together. Rosa takes a shortcut and arrives at the place before Albert. After Albert comes there, they kiss each other. Rosa tells Albert how her parents did what she told them to do. But Esther did ask whether they're still together or not, so Rosa suggests Albert be more careful. They'll keep a watch on both of them so they shouldn't meet for a while. Albert agrees. They again share a kiss. Rosa assures him that their love is forever. The episode ends with Rosa and Albert biking away in the opposite direction. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.